Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 573 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Heidi, and I've recently started telling you my name because I realize that not everyone knows it. Like, if you've been here a while, of course you do, but if you're new, you would have no idea what my name is. It just kind of hit me one day, so now you know. But I am genuinely happy you're here, whether it's your first time or your 573rd. I am just as happy. That is actually one little thing that does make me happy, that we get to be together twice a week, even if it's just for a few minutes. So I was reading a story the other day, and in the story there was a woman who, she was a busy doctor and she had two kids. She was divorced, which makes things harder because she's a single mother too. In the story though, she was having a little battle with herself because she'd had a fight with her teenage daughter, and during the fight her daughter said to her, "Well, at least I haven't forgotten to be happy." Now, the mom didn't know how to respond to that, so she just didn't respond at the moment. But now, of course, as we all do, she's replaying it over and over in her head and wondering, have I forgotten to be happy? Is she right? See, with our busy lives, it's so easy to forget that life is really supposed to feel good and we really are supposed to be having fun. And yeah, sometimes we actually do forget to be happy. But even the bigger problem that I see is, I think sometimes we have a skewed idea of what real happiness is. I mean, we create these ideas of happiness in our head, like happiness is the beach, or happiness is a 5-star resort, or a new Grenadier SUV. If you don't know what that looks like, look those up. They're great. But we get these ideas in our head of how happiness looks. And then when that is in our current reality, we think, oh, well, I'll be happy when, yeah, I'm miserable now, but soon I'll be happy when I'm on the beach or when I'm driving that car. And our brain takes that thought and it just gives fuel to it, and it takes it and it runs with it. See, our brains left to their own devices, they want to expand and highlight and focus on all the negatives. That's why I talk about our thoughts so much. We do basically live and die by them. I mean, when life gets hard, we have to be especially mindful. And sometimes we have to be creative. My yoga instructor said the other day that her summer has not been the easiest. She's had some illness in her family and has been having to travel quite a bit to take care of family. And it's really taken a toll on her, but she is still finding ways to feel happy. She said she's been wearing Victoria's Secret since, and she even bought a pair of jelly shoes because that all reminds her of simpler times. She's using nostalgia as her reminder to find joy where she can. Now, for me, I find that when life gets stressful, finding peace in one way or another is a way to keep myself grounded and to find little moments of happiness. I had a really busy, stressful week last week. Several times I noticed myself having the world's going to end if this happens or if this doesn't happen thoughts. Do you ever do that? Like, I was thinking, like, this is finally the project where everyone finds out I'm not really good at design after all. Those were the thoughts in my head. Or I will create thoughts of a client not paying me in the end or something like that. The thoughts that aren't even close to happening, but our mind left on autopilot will absolutely just throw our way every time. It's in those moments of noticing that I'm having those thoughts that I remind myself, number one, I am creating that thought. It is not an actual thing. And number two, that if this isn't going to be a problem I'm thinking about in a year or even a couple months, then it's manageable and I need to just buckle up and ride it out. And guess what? It's a week later, and none of those problems are even a problem now. The project was beautiful, the client was over the moon, and yes, they paid me. It's crazy how we let our minds do that. And I say let our mind do that because we don't have to let it do it. Once I realized I was doing that to myself, that I was creating problems that weren't there, I decided to think better thoughts right then. And I have the power to do that. I mean, if I can create thoughts that make me miserable, I am equally capable of creating thoughts that make me happy. I have that power. I just have to decide what that looks like for me. Now, at one stressful point, I went for a run just to clear my head, and that worked like a charm. Another time, I ran some of the thoughts I was having by Eric, my husband, because I knew he would tell me I was being ridiculous or not, in a very loving way, of course. And that conversation made me feel a lot better too. See, I was finding a way to feel peace in a stressful time. And peace for me in that moment equaled a little bit of happiness. Now, I wasn't giddy. I wasn't on the beach. I wasn't driving a Grenadier, but I felt at peace. And for me, that was happiness. So happiness doesn't always look like giddiness or laying on the beach with a pina colada or whatever other ideas society has planted in our head as to how happiness looks. Sometimes it looks just like peace wherever you can find it. Think about it. If you've ever been super stressed, but you or someone else gave you a thought that made you feel a little sense of peace in that moment, it feels a little happy. Anytime stress is taken off of you and you have peace, it's kind of like a moment. Sometimes it may look like allowing a good cry, which means you're feeling your feelings, which helps you get on the other side of them. And maybe happiness is just a walk on a sunny day for 10 minutes, feeling the sun on your face. Because things happen in life that are not joyful. But that doesn't mean we can't still have peace, which allows us to maintain a certain level of happiness, even amongst the chaos. I mean, it's not always going to be chaotic. This too shall pass, right? Sometimes that little thought alone, this too shall pass, can bring about peace, which in a way gives us a little sense of happiness. So maybe we need to evaluate what it is that we consider really being happy. What if our idea of happiness can look just like a hot cup of coffee on a chilly morning, or your dog greeting you like you're his favorite person in the world, because you probably are? What if happiness is driving alone in a quiet car, finding a moment of peace amongst the chaos? We would be finding happiness all day long if we decided to really look for the little moments that bring us peace or just a little bit of joy. And it's not Pollyanna stuff. It's remembering to look for moments to be happy or at peace instead of looking for what is not going well, which is naturally what our brain wants to do. And this is not just feel-good advice. There's actually science behind why our brains default to the negative and how we can shift that. Research shows that we're wired with something called negativity bias. You probably have heard it, where we not only notice bad stuff more quickly, but we hang on to it longer. It's like our ancestors needed that to spot dangers in the wild, but today it just means we replay that one critical little comment from a meeting while ignoring the 10 compliments we got. Studies even confirm that negative emotions linger longer, and we spend more brain power mulling them over. But the really good part about this, there's an upside, I promise you, we can override it. We have that power. Experts in positive psychology say that by intentionally focusing on positive experiences, we can rewire those neural pathways over time. It's not about ignoring the hard stuff. It's about balancing the scale. It's going to be hard, but you can find moments of peace in there. And when it comes to redefining happiness, there are happiness experts that show that true joy isn't about grand vacations or material stuff. It's about sort of curating your own version of happiness in the everyday. And one tip that really resonated with me that I read is embracing self-care, like really focusing on good sleep or getting your exercise in or eating really healthy, nourishing food, because when your body feels good, your mind follows. And another good tip is building positive relationships. So telling your partner or friend one thing you appreciate about them every single day. And that kind of creates this connection, which gives you a little bit of joy. And do not sleep on nature. I mean, if you're like me, even a little short walk outside can boost your mood by reducing stress hormones and also just giving you a little sense of peace that we were chatting earlier about. So if you want to redefine happiness in a powerful way, maybe you could just grab a journal and jot down 5 things that bring you peace. Just little things, not the big flashy stuff, but the small ones, like that first sip of coffee or hearing your favorite song on shuffle. It's like training your brain to look for the good rather than focus on the negative, which is what it's going to do naturally if you don't train it. But you have to train it, just like your muscles. You have to train it. But you can combat that negativity bias if you work on it. And at the end of your day, maybe you could just quickly jot down 3 positives and 1 lesson from a challenge. And this is not just fluff. Science backs that gratitude shifts our focus and even helps negative emotions fade faster. I actually do it in reverse. I start my day with this. Like, I ask myself every morning before I meditate, what did I do well yesterday and what could I have done better? And then I set an intention for today. So I'll say, like, this is how my meeting's going to go today. And these are the things I'm going to do to feel good today. So I'm creating my day rather than allowing whatever to happen. My favorite tip, though, that I read, and I talk about this a lot, is just thinking a better thought. Experts say that when a negative thought pops up, you can acknowledge it, but then actively redirect it. Like I did, where you can go for a run or talking with a friend about your thoughts so that they can get some reality into you, like I did with Eric. You don't have to fight it. You can just say, okay, noted, but what's one good thing here? Now, it might feel awkward at first, but it builds that muscle again. Brooke Castillo always used to say, there is always a better feeling thought. And I couldn't agree more. So you see, happiness isn't a far off when. It's now, in the peace that you cultivate amid your chaos. And you've got the power to redefine it with a little intention and a little mindfulness. My challenge for you today is to choose peace over perfection. And don't forget to be happy. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together. And I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.